And it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 23. Jesus said, quote, "Then I will tell them plainly, quote, I never knew you. I don't want to hear those 4 words. I'm just letting you know. So you could say what you want about people of faith and about how we try to share, our faith and our beliefs because we're obligated to do that. Mark 16:15 tells us, go out and preach, share the good word with all of creation. We're obligated to do that. We're not obligated to force our faith on you, try to turn you into a Christian. We are obligated to spread the good word. And that's what we do. And it's up to you to believe if we're sincere or not. But I can tell you, I have my own system of checks and balances, and it comes right out of Scripture. I never knew you. I don't want to hear those words. And if I thought that I was doing this for myself, I would stop. Because you know what? I am concerned about eternity and where I spend all of eternity. That's me. You can, buy into that or not, but that's me. So that's it for today. That's the wisdom that I have to share. Again, Inner Circle, can't wait to see you. YouTube, you got to subscribe. A lot of good stuff coming up. You get first alerts and first notification. Don't forget, subscribe. Okay, we have good content coming up. How do I always leave you? Same way. I'm consistent. Be safe. Be healthy. God bless. And I'm going to add this. God willing, because we never know what happens in this world, I will see you next time. Look forward to that.
Well, I mean, when you look at sort of the structure of your organization,
All right, I am here to relay information that I just channeled during my monthly coaching call. There's a wonderful woman who came into the coaching call named
Hey, what's going on, Blinker 135? Welcome to the live. Just waiting for some people to get in here before we get started. I'm doing some reading. This is the Altar of Kane. If you're interested in necromancy and black magic, this is the Altar of Kane. Look at this book, thick book. That's the back cover. Altar of Kane. Here's some images from within. Let me see, trying to find some of the cooler images, some of the seals and gateways. I don't know if you're into occultism and magic, but
the Atlanteans in the past, the Lemurians did not. The Atlanteans in the past abused technology advancement, and because of that,
imagine getting something like that as a tattoo.
I don't know if that was the GFL. I don't really know how that happened.
It's crazy.
Basically, what happened back then.
That was the third seal of the 4 bone crowns of Cain and the 4th seal of the 4 bone crowns of Cain. It's pretty interesting. Ooh. Book 2, the Book of the Bone Lord. The Bone Lord. Huh. I'm going to read this. It says, the blood of Cain is liquid fire, the very essence of the gods, flowing from the dark goddess Hecate. that grants power of the ancient world unto mortal man, forever altering the path of destiny for immortal souls who partake of this pure magical flame. The devil grants a pact of freedom to all who drink the blood of the gods from the horned chalice of Cain. Very interesting.
The V is a technology, and at a very, very deep
What's going on, Shows Atlanta?
level, there are many, many starseeds who used to live in
Let's talk magic. You guys interested in magic? Real magic, occultism, witchcraft, sorcery, shamanism, necromancy, esotericism, mysticism. Look at that. Children of the Devil's Horn. Look at that. And then what's that one down there? Way of the Bone Master. Some cool stuff going on. Let's see. Way of the Bone Master, the Lord of Death. Apprentice of the Devil's Flesh. The Revelation of Cain. I mean, this is a totally satanic book, which it's funny because I have this book next to my my Bible commentary. Look at this. The seal of the Revelation of Cain. Hey, what's going on? Froigo, Brittany Delinge. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's talk magic. Let's talk occultism, guys. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this. The Mass of Possession. This reminds me of some South American cults that use death masks in order to do. It's in my Sabbatica volume 1. I want to say I have volume 1 and 4. There's I think 8 volumes. I have volume 1 and volume 4, and they talk about Mass of Possession. They talk about death masks in that book. They make faces of their enemies, and then they enchant them, and then they wear them, and they do the death dance, and that invites a spirit to kill their enemy. It tricks the spirit into thinking that with the mask on that they are their enemy, so then the spirit will go out and find their enemy and kill them. Yeah, look, another one. Blood Mask of Demonic Manifestation. This is some dark stuff. Friojo, hi, thanks for sharing. Of course, of course. That's what I'm here for. The sharing of the true occultism, true magic. Not this new age nonsense. Oh, we're all one, hug the trees, oh, the moon and the stars, and all that nonsense. The Devil's Cross. If you're interested, this is by Mark Allen Smith. He is the owner of Primal Craft Publishing. These books, I'm not going to lie to you, they're not cheap. I paid $120 for this book. And I have 4 of his other books that I paid around the same price for. So these are not cheap at all. And they're made in strict editions of, I think, 1,000 copies. Let me see. He writes them in here. Okay. So I have copy 22. So I was one of the early purchasers. 22 of 999. So there's only 999 copies in the world, and I have number 22. So, and it says this work is published in 2 strictly limited hand-bound numbered editions. The Arconian Scythe edition, it's the one that I got, consists of 999 copies bound in black wolf linel, stamped in gold. You can see the gold there and the gold there, and with seals of the Lord of Resurrection. Now there was a more expensive copy that was several $100s. It was stamped in 24 karat gold, leather snake skin, and it was presented in a Solander box with a ribboned bookmarker. I didn't get that one. Let's see. Do you have some favorite authors for newbies? Yes, I do. So I'm going to try to give you a wide range of authors, not just authors from a specific system or a specific tradition. So first I'm going to say Donald Michael Craig, even though he's passed on. His book, Modern Magic, there's 2 editions. There's 11 lessons, and then there's the updated version, 12 lessons. You might as well get the 12 lessons. Modern Magic, 12 Lessons in High Magic. Perfect book. I mean, it will give you the foundation, especially if you're interested in magic from a more ceremonial perspective, like I am. So that's a good book. If you're interested in more of a folk style of magic, a more witchcrafty style of magic, Paul Huson's Mastering Witchcraft. It's a very old book from the 70s, but it's wonderful. It has a lot of anti-Christian imagery in it, so if you don't hate Christianity, that might not be the thing for you, but it's a good primer on witchcraft. The Sorcerer's Secrets by Jason Miller, who runs the Strategic Sorcery blog and the Hecate course and all that. Excellent book for learning the basics of spellcasting, ritual work, sorcery. He even expands on how, even though anyone can practice magic, magic's not for everybody. Even if you actively want to practice magic, it may never work for you. And he goes over that. A lot of people don't talk about that. They just say, yeah, anyone can do it. And anyone can do it, but not everyone will do it. So that's a good book. Here's going to be a really dense one, a really boring one, and a really big, thick one like this. Cornelius Heinrich Agrippa. He wrote the 3 books of occult philosophy, which is the cornerstone, the foundation of basically all modern occultism. The 3 books of occult philosophy, and then of course the 4th book, which is not really attributed to him, but whatever. So those books are probably where I would start. And I think after you read all of those, you will have a solid foundation of occultism, and then you'll be able to pick whatever path you want and go down that path without much of a worry about anything. You'll know most of the concepts that they're talking about, and even if you don't, you'll be able to relate and understand better. You'll be able to do things that other people who just study one of those books or 2 of those books wouldn't be able to do. So yeah, those are 4 books. I think those are the 4 books I would start with. So, but really, out of those 4, Modern Magic and the Sorcerer's Secrets are probably the 2 that I would say I'd probably buy right now. Buy those 2. So, let me see here. Hecate's Gift to the Children of Cain. Now, I am not a child of Cain. I do not practice from this book. I use it mainly for inspiration for my own necromantic rituals. But that was a crown. This thing right here. I know it looks like a candle holder, but it's a crown with candles on it. Let me see here. Oh, Sigil Magic. If you are interested in sigils, Brittany DeLinge. Frater UD has a good book on sigil magic. Sigils are very simple, very easy to cast. I would study Austin Osman Spare's work on sigils. He was the father of personals. He did not invent sigils as a whole, but he's the father of personal sigils. And he essentially came up with the idea of, oh, hold on, one of my altar items is like exposed, and I can't have that. One moment. What is going on here? What is this? Why is this happening? There we go. Okay. Sorry, my wand was coming out of its case. Weird. All right. What was I saying? Austin Osman Spare and sigils. He essentially came up with the sex magic version of sigil casting. But Frater UD's book on sigil magic is excellent. Sigils are very easy. You don't need much to do them. A pen, paper, or a printer if you're going to print them out. And that's really all you need for sigils to work sigil magic. So check that out if you want to get started doing magic tomorrow, because the books that I gave you, the books that I recommended, you probably won't be able to start doing anything right away. You'll have to work up to doing the actual spells and rituals. But with sigil magic, you can pretty much start right away. So I would do that. Any other questions? I'm happy to help. Let me just go put this one back on my shelf, and I'm going to grab another book. Be right back.
They are utilizing our subconscious fear of what happened back, our soul trauma of what happened back in ancient Atlantis,
when you say you're not a child of Cain, so they don't. So that's a fine spelling. There's nothing wrong with that spelling, but they spell it the original Hebrew way, Qayin. So when I say I'm not a child of Cain, I mean I didn't do any of the rituals from that book. Like I didn't summon Cain and go through those initiations in order to make Cain my Lord and my God or anything like that. So that's what I mean when I say. How would someone find out? I lean towards paganism but don't know much. I mean, as long as you don't follow any of the 3 Abrahamic religions, you are considered a pagan. So if you're not Muslim, if you're not Christian, if you're not Jewish, and I guess some people would consider Baha'i part of the Abrahamic faith, but I don't know about that. But if you're not one of the 3 major Abrahamic religions, and you're not atheist or something like that, then technically you are considered a pagan. Now, you're probably talking about pagan religions, like the actual earth-centered religions of paganism. There's no way to know. You just have to find what calls to you. And that's the hard part, because people don't know where to start. But unfortunately, you just have to jump in. I could tell you to start with the books that I told you to start, and then you might not want to go down that route at all. So then, it wasn't a waste of time, but you could have been doing what you wanted to do down the path. Like, I had this one kid from France back when I was running a Wizard Forums. His name is Angelo, and I don't mind saying his name. If you go, his website is Angelo's Cartomancy. So if you go to his website, ask him about a member that he used to know named the God King. He doesn't know me as the Mystical Rebel. He knows me as the God King, and he will confirm all of this. AngelosCartomancy.com is his website. I was his mentor, and he, was under me for about 2 years. 2 years, and then he decided he didn't want to go my route. He wanted to go the voodoo route. So now he's initiated Voodoo. I don't think he's a Hungan Aswoge. I think he's just a regular voodooist. He took 2 years under me and then decided, you know what, everything you taught me is great, but that's not really the path I want to take. I want to go the voodoo route. And so now he does voodoo. Happy Wednesday, scrolling through lives, giving roses just because they... Hey, well, thank you, Jennifer Fisher. Thank you. You are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Wednesday to you. And you know why this is crazy, Jennifer? I don't know if you're still here, but this is crazy because today in occultism, in paganism, is the autumnal, well, depending on who you talk to, it was either yesterday or today, is the autumnal equinox, or as we call it, Mabon, our fall harvest. So the fact that you're here and you're saying Happy Wednesday and you give me a gift on what we call a Sabbath, a holy day, is quite amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I got this one now. Looks a little scary, right? This is Eshu and the Kimbanda of Night and Fire. This is Afro-Brazilian sorcery. Very, very powerful. If I were to say, if there was ever some of the most powerful systems of magic in the world, it would be African and South American systems of magic. I have yet to come across it, whether it's from China, India, Indonesia. I've dealt with magic from Europe. I've dealt with magic from Canada. I've dealt with magic from Hawaii. Maybe the Mexicans come close, Santeria and things like that. Well, actually, no, Santeria is pretty powerful because that is an ATR. No, that's an ADR. So, but yeah, the ATRs and the ADRs, the African traditional religions and the African diaspora religions, those are some of the most powerful systems of magic in the world. And this is Eshu. I know it looks like Exu, but it's pronounced Eshu, and the Kimbanda of Night and Fire. That's what this book is called. Let me see here. And this is another one of those books that's printed in strict editions. This one is printed, this was published on All Souls Day, so November 1st in 2012, in a strict edition of 769 cloth-bound exemplars. And I have number 130. So you cannot buy this book, at least not in this form. Luckily, the publisher, sorry, that's the author. The publisher, Scarlet Imprint, publishes paperback versions of all their books, but you can't get it in this form anymore. Unless you get it from someone who's selling it on like eBay or Amazon. This is Eshu and the Kimbanda of Night and Fire. Pretty thick book by Nicolaj de Matos Frisvold, who is an initiate of several different ATRs and ADRs, including Kimbanda. This is a book of black magic. But it doesn't come off as black magic like the other book that I had does. It doesn't present itself as like satanic and well, it's not satanic. They don't believe in Satan in that way, but they do honor the dead. I mean, look, one of the first pages here Sol Invictus, Father of the Dead. And then we have, look at this, the page that I'm on right now. Eshu and the Death of Bacchus. And let me show you some of the spells and stuff that are in here. There's some pretty dark stuff there, and there's some healing stuff in here too. Here you go, healing fumes. So there's some good stuff in here, but most of the stuff is workings of Magia Negra. So let's see here. Oh, we got 2 curses right here. 2 curses right here. We've got Dead Man's Box and the Killing Toad. I've done the Killing Toad before for a client. I never did Dead Man's Box, but a client wanted me to do something to her rapist ex-boyfriend. So here is Dead Man's Box. Curse here. And then on this page is the Killing Toad. These are some pretty powerful curses. We've got the Invisible Snake. You want to become invisible? All you have to do is follow this ritual, which consists of burning a snake. What kind of snake? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's a snake. You got to burn a snake to its ashes and eat the ashes. And if you follow the ritual for the invisible snake, this is the spell and everything like that that you have to say. You follow it, you'll be invisible. Bobby Shmurda, hello, I love your music. Well, if I was Bobby Shmurda, I can tell you I wouldn't be on a TikTok live talking about magic. I'd be on TikTok live at a strip club or on my yacht. Well, I don't think he has money to buy a yacht. On a private jet that his label got for him or something like that. I wouldn't be talking about magic, I can tell you that. Could you speak to the timing of rituals? Oh boy. Do I got a surprise for you? Timing. Of course I can talk about the timing of rituals. So I'm going to assume by timing, hold on, let me put my stuff down. You're talking about planetary days, planetary hours, planetary minutes and seconds, which no one really uses the latter, but planetary days and planetary hours. So most people who first start to study magic, you will learn about things called the elemental correspondences and then the planetary correspondences. And the planetary correspondences is what deal with timing. So you'll learn that each day of the week is ruled over by a specific planet. These planets are from our Greek and Roman friends. I'm not sure if there's a Chinese equivalent or an Indian equivalent or anything like that, but I know in the West we use the Greek and the Roman. So Monday would be ruled over by the moon or Luna. Tuesday would be Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, Saturday is Saturn, Sunday is the Sun. Now in occultism, the moon and the sun are considered planets. They are not planets in the astronomical sense, as in an actual planet like Pluto or Jupiter. Well, not Pluto anymore, but Jupiter. But they are considered heavenly bodies or celestial bodies, and therefore they are considered planets in the occult sense. And so each of these planets on these days, so let's start with a Monday. On Monday, the day of the moon, there's 24 hours, right? And each hour is governed by a planet. So generally, most planets have 2 hours. They have a morning hour or a day hour and a night hour. Sometimes they might have 3 or more, but it's usually 2, a day hour and a night hour. And so when you're doing your magic, say you want to do a love spell. Well, you're free to do your love spell whenever you would like. You don't have to do it on a Friday. But if you want the best chances of success, doing it on a Friday and then in the hour of Venus would probably be best. So doing it on Friday and whatever, I don't know them by heart. I don't know the hours by heart. But whatever the hour, let's just say it's 7 p.m. Doing it on a Friday at 7 p.m. would yield the best results. But then it can get a little more nuanced than that, because if you're working with a spirit, such as an angel or a demon, they might have specific hours during those days, which they may be better called on. So then you have to weigh that. Do I call, the spirit during their hour, or do I call them during the hour of Venus? Which would be better? It's better to call the spirit during their hour. But yeah, let me see. What's that hand in the background? Oh, that's just, it's like a regular palmistry thing. Just something I found at a store. And I don't, I have art on my walls, but it's like weird art. This is like the only occult art that I get. So I figured it'd be a good background. It's just showing you in Western in Western esotericism what each point on your palm, on your hand would mean. That's all. Nothing too crazy. Let me go back up here. Okay. LOL asked Sled. What does Sled say? Somebody flame me up? Oh, the Bobby Smurf thing. Oh man. Hey, thank you for the hollow. I just said hello. Let's see. What's the best occult book you can read? The best? The best. The best is honestly, the best stuff is the old stuff. The old, boring, dry, who's going to read this except people, old white men in college, you know, those are the best books to read, honestly. No, they're not funny and they're not cool and hip and have cool buzzwords in it, but they're straight, they're to the point, they explain what they're there to explain, and they give you a solid foundation on magic. Which is what I was given. And that's why I'm so hardcore on having a foundation. And I don't believe in this new age nonsense that you can just do whatever you want and all this and manifest this and manifest that. It's all bullshit. It's all feel good bullshit. You have to have a foundation and you have to be able to expound on that foundation, and new agers can't. So the older books are the best. So I would say the 3 books of occult philosophy are probably the best books. Well, I mean, it's one book. It's called the 3 books, but it's one book of occult philosophy. And then the 4th book is probably the best to read. It's boring, it's dry, I'm not gonna lie, but it's probably the best. So, hello, I'm from Vietnam. Well, hello, Vietnam. What day might be best for doing a karma spell? Saturday? So I'm guessing by karma you mean you want to like curse or hex someone. So yes, Saturday would be best for that. But however, Tuesday, the day of Mars, could also be good because Mars is a war spirit, a battle spirit. So if you are engaged in sort of a fight or a battle with someone and you want to win, Mars would be good. So Tuesday. So if you're trying to curse them, just a plain old general curse or a hex or a binding or something like that, Saturday. If you're engaged in whatever kind of battle, verbal, physical, legal, financial, then Mars. So Tuesday would be the best for that. Let's see. Newer books are watered down. They are watered down, and it's terrible. Not all of them, but a lot of them are watered down. And it's to suit the audience today. I mean, I hate to say it, but most people, especially in our spiritual world, they want instant spirituality. They want microwavable spirituality. It took me 4 years to become initiated. Now, of course, I was trained by a physical person. I didn't learn from books. I didn't learn from a blog. I didn't learn from the internet. I was lucky enough to have a high priestess of a coven who trained me. And she trained me for 4 years before she initiated me into the craft. And this is going to sound like some movie, but I have to say it this way. There's no other way to say it, but gave me the power. I don't mean it in some way I can shoot lightning bolts out of my hand or nothing crazy like that. I can't levitate and all that nonsense. But that's what happens when you become initiated. It's passed on to you. Whatever is in them that makes their magic work is now passed on to you, which is access to the spirits. It's nothing crazy. It's just opening up my energy centers and my chakras so magic can flow through me properly without much effort on my part. But a lot of people don't want to do the work. They want instant spirituality. They want to read one page of one book and their life is grand. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. But we've been engineered to be that way. I mean, look at the non-mundane stuff. I mean, the phones that we're on right now, 4G wasn't fast enough. It wasn't fast enough, so we have to have 5G. We need downloading your 2-hour movie in 5 minutes isn't fast enough. We need it in 30 seconds because God forbid those other 4 minutes and 30 seconds, what are we going to do? Right? Like, we live in a very instant world. Why would your spirituality be any different? It should be different, but it's not. And unfortunately, people are catering to that when it comes to writing books, and it sucks because there's a lot of trash books out there right now. Which is why I prefer, I don't even buy my books on Amazon anymore. I don't even buy from Llewellyn, which there's nothing wrong with Llewellyn. Before I say anything, they are the biggest occult publisher probably in the world. They probably produce most of the occult books that you've heard of, right? I don't buy from them anymore because they'll let anybody publish. I buy my books from these types of people, the people who take time and, I mean, look at this book. This is like black cloth with like, this is an actual, like, someone took time and care into this. It's not some paperback book for $12.99. This was a $90 book. Like, and it's chock full of information that's not watered down. This is both a practitioner's book and a scholarly book. So like a college course could use this book. A college course on Kimbanda could use this book as like their reference manual. I mean, yeah. So I don't bother with most modern day books. A lot of them are good, but most of them are absolutely asinine, and it sucks. Do you record your lives? I don't, but TikTok does. I didn't know this. So this is only like my 4th live. I just got 1,000 followers like 2 days ago. So this is only my 4th live, and I found out after my live was done, TikTok told me that they save it for 90 days. So if I want to like upload it to my YouTube or make them available on some other platform, I can certainly do so. So they are recorded, and then I can download them if I want. So I don't record them, no, but TikTok does, and then saves it for me later. So. Oh, it's you, Intergalactic Starfish. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Please do. Okay. And also your suggestion, Starfish, from yesterday about courses. I looked into that. I looked into creating courses. So I'm gonna start doing that on Coursera. I think it's called Coursera. So Hichamblad. I butchered that name. I'm sorry, but welcome. Thank you for joining. So what's going on, guys? Any questions or Patreon? You know what? Listen, I'm so new to all this. I'm so new to like this. I'm used to the forums, and like I'm used to like Reddit and, you know, typing everything out, and you know that's how people know me. This format is a little new for me. So how should I start with magic? Well, it depends on what kind of magic you want, but most people don't know. So I'll say this. Start with sigils. I mean, they're probably the easiest thing. They're probably the easiest thing to prove to yourself that magic works. Everyone always wants, well, before I do all this work, you know, on myself and all this, you know, a meditation and chanting and all that, how do I know it works before I waste my time doing all this stuff? Okay, sigils. Start with sigils. Frater UD, Sigil Magic, it's called Sigil Magic. He has a book. It's called Sigil Magic. Check that book out. I know I just took a big poop on Llewellyn, but I think it's published through Llewellyn, and it's paperback on Amazon for like $12.99. Even though I just took a whole poop on that category of books. It is a good book. While I support occult authors, and I believe everyone should support them as well, I understand not everybody, even for $12.99, everybody has the money. So I have a bunch of PDF copies of a lot of books. I have about 50 actual books on my shelf here, but I have about 700 PDF copies of books, and Sigil Magic is one of them. So if you don't want to actually buy it, or you don't have the money to buy it, I hope I don't get banned for this or in trouble because I'm promoting stealing and all that nonsense, but you can find a PDF copy pretty easily just by Googling Sigil Magic Frater UD PDF. So got to go back to work. Okay, thank you for stopping in, and enjoy the rest of your shift. I hope to see you next time. So yeah, start with sigils. That's where I would start. I would start with Sigil Magic, and that'll prove to yourself that this stuff does work, that magic is real, and that people haven't been wasting their time for all these centuries. So that's what I would start with. 1 minute. I'm gonna put this book back, and I'm gonna get another book. This one's going to be interesting. How do you spell it? I'm so sorry, I'm new to this. No, don't be sorry, man. I bought a copy of Aleister Crowley. Crowley's good, but Crowley is good for thelema and like, I don't want to say instructional magic. He's good for theory. If you want theory on magic, he's good for that. And if you want to study thelema, I'm not a thelemite, but I have no issue with is it thelemite or thelemite? I don't know. I'm not a member of that. But Crowley is good. He's thought to be the founder of like modern magic. I don't know if I agree with that. There was a couple people back then that were pretty influential. Blavatsky, Mathers, Crowley, Bardin. So I mean, I can't say Crowley did it, but his books are good. Sorry. How do you spell it? Sigil. So sigil, and then magic. I think it's Magick is how he spells it. And then Frater is just Frater, Frater, which is German for like master or something like that. Like in Germany, if you are a high-level wizard or whatever, you call yourself a Frater, rather than like master. So Frater, and then just UD, like University of Denver, UD. So Frater UD. You're interesting. I'm glad I found you. Well, thank you very much, Leocentric. Thank you very much. I hope I can provide information that you are looking for. I've meditated for a long time too. That's good. Meditation is good. It's not the be-all, end-all of occultism like a lot of New Agers like to say, but a meditative practice is essential, and it can certainly help you with a lot of issues. Not issues, a lot of like problems that might come up when casting spells and doing rituals, because you can't get into like a theta gamma sync quite easily. Meditation helps with that. Also with a lot of transcendental magic or astral magic. Meditation is very helpful for. Bro, have you joined any occult fraternities? Not anything official. I am a member of the Order of the Elderwood. That was the coven that brought me into the occult. I am initiated into a neo-shamanic system of magic. I am initiated into the Sacerdotum Umbrae Mortis, which is a necromantic system of magic. And I am initiated as a grimoire traditional magician. But none of these are like organizations, except the Order of Elderwood, that you can like go to. Like there's a building and you can knock on the door and go, hey, I'm here for, it's not like that. I'm not like a Mason or anything like that. No, I haven't joined anything like that. Mainly because I don't like covens. I like doing things not my way, but I like going back to the source and getting it from the original. And a lot of these groups are modernized and they're syncretized with a bunch of different things. So it'll be, a bit of Hermeticism mixed with some African stuff, mixed with some Mexican stuff. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? This is a hodgepodge of nothing. So I'm not part of any official groups or anything like that. But the next book, before I do this, do you astral project? I do not astral project. I do a different method of soul travel or astral travel. So there's a few different types of astral travel. Astral projection is just the most popular. It's just the most well-known. But I do something called Shamanic Journeying, being that I am a neo-shaman. I do something called Shamanic Journeying, which is a little different, but it essentially operates on the same level. I mean, if you wanted to astral project somewhere and wanted to meet me, I could Shamanic Journey and meet you there. I might take a little longer to get there because I have a few more steps to do, but I mean, it's essentially the same thing. I mean, it's like you driving a Lamborghini and I'm driving a Mack truck. I'm going to get there. It just takes me a little longer to get in the truck, get it all gassed up and things like that. But yeah, so this is the next book, the Book of Flesh and Feather. Look at that. Look at Toth. Look at Toth. Look, like these books, guys, like don't buy these flimsy paperback, not like this is where the information, I mean, not this book, specifically, but these kinds of books is where the good information is. This is the Book of Flesh and Feather through Theon. Can you see that? Theon Publishing. This is a devotional book to the god Toth through his Egyptian counterpart, Jehuti. Do you have to experience Kundalini rise before your magic is effective or switching timelines? So raising your Kundalini can be extremely effective. But it's not required, no. Raising your Kundalini is required if you want to reach like nirvana, or if you want to reach bliss, if you want to get like Shaktipat, if you want to get Tumo. Now these are all Eastern concepts, so but it's not required for magic, no. It certainly would help you, yes, it would certainly help, but it's definitely not required, no. Let's see. God have mercy on his soul. For what? Why would your God have mercy on my soul? Jesus. Is it on the astral plane as well? Yes. You Shamanic Journey on the astral plane. There are certain worlds that astral projection can't get to that you can get to through Shamanic Journeying. But yes, there is a gateway to the astral plane there. Yes. I was part of the Golden Dawn Online. That's cool. I have the Enochian Scrying Tarot by the Chicheros, who are like the current leaders of the American version of the Golden Dawn. They wrote Enochian Scrying Tarot. there was about a 3-year period that I didn't really do any magic aside from grimoire tradition. I devoured the Key of Solomon, the Goetia, the Virum, the Grimoire of Cornelius, the Black Dragon, all these different grimoires, trying to get a physical manifestation of a demon. So I didn't do any magic, including scrying. And when I decided to return to scrying, like if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm sitting in front of my scrying mirror and I can't do anything. Nothing's working, nothing's happening. So I used their book, the Enochian Scrying Tarot, to reactivate my Tatwa vision and get back into scrying. So I have a soft spot in my heart for the Golden Dawn. I said what I said. Okay, I'm leaving. Oh, I already read that. You heard of the Emerald Tablets? Yes, I have heard of the Emerald Tablets. They're okay. They're incomplete. Actually, you know what? One moment. I'm gonna put this down for a second. So this book, Hermetica, The Dialogues of Hermes Trismegistus. This is from Ouroboros Press. It's probably my least decorated book. Like it's small too compared to the Egyptian book. It's small. But to answer your question about the Emerald Tablets, the table of contents in this is a little weird. Here we go. So, table of contents here. You can see the Divine Pymander. And what is this on the second page? The Emerald Tablets. So yes. And then we have the Virgin of the World and other sort of hermetic. So yes, I have heard of the Emerald Tablets. But they're pretty much incomplete. It's just fragments. So, is there a boom I can learn Kemetic religion from? A book. So by Kemetic, I'm assuming you mean Egyptian. I mean, that's the only, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. So there's this, the Book of Flesh and Feather, which honors the Greek god Thoth through his Egyptian counterpart, Jehuti. So but this is only for Jehuti. Now, if you are, knowledgeable, you can use this book as inspiration for other Kemetic rites. But specifically for Kemeticism, no. I have some books on Egyptian, like ancient Egypt, but ancient Kemet, before it was Egypt. I don't know of any specific books on that. I'm sorry. Bro, have you read any of Malachi York? No, I've heard of Malachi Martin, but not Malachi York. What is your most commonly used spell? I actually don't cast a lot of spells. Most of my magical work is spirit work. I evoke spirits, and I do most of my work through a spirit. My most useful, 2 days ago I did a spell for a friend. His uncle was in the hospital, so I did a healing spell. My most used spell, I don't know, because I don't really do many spells these days. It's mostly spirit work. My most common spell, or my most used spell, I guess good luck spells. A lot of my friends are always asking me for, because the times we're in, everyone's always looking for a leg up. So I get a lot of requests for good luck from like friends and colleagues and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't think of any other type of, because I don't really do spells. Most of my work is done through spirits. I evoke spirits and ask them to do the work for me. So, do you have any creepy spirit stories? No, and that's because I use a table of practice. So this is something in spirit work that a lot of people here in the West, not this, but a lot of people in the West don't understand, and that's protection when working with spirits. That's something that the New Age doesn't teach you. That's something that the paranormal doesn't teach you. You just walk into the haunted house with your stuff and say, "Hey, is anyone here?" And then you come home with an attachment, and now your house is haunted, and you're wondering, well, what the heck's going on? You have to have protection with spirits. And so I have a magic circle that I use. I could show you, but I guess I could show you. Hold on. So it's rolled up in canvas. This is it. I painted it myself 11 years ago. Like this is huge, guys. But so I use this when I'm doing, and I'm sure you've seen this if you've read any of like the Key of Solomon or the Goetia. This is what I use for my magic circle of protection. And I'm not gonna be able to get it all in the camera, but surely you've seen. Like I can't get it all in the camera. I mean, this is 12 feet. It's 12 feet, so like I can't get all 12 feet in here, but I can show you a mini picture in a minute. But yeah, so I'm standing in the center here, and I evoke spirits into the triangle of art, which is also on here, but you can't see it because this thing is 12 feet. You know what? Let me just get a small version. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So basically, you just saw a real version of this, minus the snake. I don't have the Ouroboros, which is what that snake is. I don't have that, but I have all the words in there. The triangle, which is where the spirit manifests. The circle, I stand here in the middle. And if I have attendants, which I don't, they would stand here, 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 and here. But I don't have any attendants. It's just me. So no, I don't have any really creepy spirit stories because I use protection. I'm not just calling spirits randomly just to see if it works. I use protection. I use divine authority. I call on the archangels to watch over, or as we call it in occultism, preside. They preside over the ritual, especially when I'm working with demons, to make sure that if the demon does get out of hand, I've got some help behind me. So, I mean, creepy in the sense of like things were happening and I was scared, no. They make a lot of noise when they come. Demons make a lot of noise. Some of them have music. And some of them come with other spirits. You know, like they'll come because they have rank in hell. As above, so below. We have rank here on earth. They have rank in heaven and hell and other spiritual realms. For example, I have the Goetia here, so let's just go into it. Stolas here is the 36th spirit. Stolas, he's a great and powerful prince. He appears in the shape of a mighty raven at first, but if the exorcist or the magician commands, he can take the shape of a man. He teaches astronomy, the virtue of herbs and precious stones, and he governs 26 legions of spirits. For those of you who know history, in a legion, generally, there's 1,000 soldiers in one legion. So if we take that logic and apply it to this, he has 26,000 spirits under his command. So, and he's a prince, so he probably would appear. I've never evoked him, but he probably would appear with other spirits with him. So, I mean, that's, I mean, other than noise, no, I haven't had any creepy stories, but that's because I have protection. I don't just call things without protecting myself. So, do you use rituals to invoke spirits? To invoke spirits? Yes, but I prefer, I mean, but invocation is more of a passive thing. How do I explain this? So invocation is calling a spirit from outside of yourself into yourself. Either for, I don't know, either for divination, blessings, things like that. Evocation is when you call a spirit from outside of yourself, but it stays outside of yourself, but you call it to visible appearance. I do both, but invocation I don't do for any like purpose other than my own personal whatever, to bless something or to you know, see the future or whatever. It's evocation that I use to get things, to, you know, to get things done. So, will my husband leave me? I slept with my uncle's mom and I feel bad. Well, Lord of Thick, I don't know. You have to talk to your husband about that. I'm guessing you want a reading, but you have to pay for that. I don't do those free, and I don't believe in those new age speed readings that you see people doing on TikTok Live where there's 200 people in the chat and there's 80 questions flying by and they're just like, yes, John, your wife's going to leave you. No, Sue, don't take the job. Billy, watch out for the plane ride. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Lucifer loves you. Well, that's great. I love him too. He's the demon of Monday, and he can be called under the power of Yod-He-Vohe, Iheye, the Tetragrammaton. Forget what I said. When you do stuff for others, is it to remove things for them or to get things? That's up to them. And mainly it's friends and colleagues, but that's up to them if they have an attachment, if they feel like they have, you know, a curse on them or something like that, then we'll do work to make sure that they do. And if they do, then we'll work to get it removed. Or if they want something, like a new job, or they're looking for love or something like that, then I'll help them with that as well. Are spells or evocations with an intent for financial gain frowned upon? No. And anyone who tells you different is some new age charmed lover or something like that. There's no such thing as personal gain in occultism. And if we're being honest, occultism is quite selfish. It is quite personal. So personal gain and all that doesn't make any sense. The issue though and I'm not going to lie to you, I have yet to get money magic to work effectively for me. Can't figure it out. And I believe the reason for that is because money is not spiritually real, whereas love is spiritually real, death is spiritually real, healing and, you know, things like that. Those things are spiritually real. So I can cast a curse on someone and it'll work like that. I can get someone to fall in and out of love with you like that. I can, you know, make you sick or heal you like that. But for some reason, other than like just getting you like a job, I can't seem to get money magic to work, and I can't figure out why. So it's not frowned upon, but it's extreme. In my experience, it's extremely hard because it's not real. It's not spiritually real. It's man-made, and therefore, like, how do you use a spiritual practice to get something man-made? So, let's see here. I'm in a rough place, and more money would fix that, and I have a deep desire to help others. Well, that's good. You always want to put yourself in a position to help others. Magic can certainly help you with money. You just have to know how to operate it properly. So I would say Financial Sorcery by Jason Miller, the author of Strategic Sorcery that I talked about earlier. He has a good book on money magic called Financial Sorcery. You might want to check that out. And also, I mentioned him earlier, the author of Sigil Magic, Frater UD. I think he has a book on money magic as well. I forget what it's called. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I believe he has a book on money magic as well. Let's see. How do people get attachments aside from unprotected magic work? Someone could give them an attachment. So another practitioner could send something after you. A psychic vampire could have fed on you and left a imprint of his own energy, or her, their whatever own energy. And that could be an attachment. So that way they always have a connection to you. You can walk into a graveyard to go pay respect to your, you know, passed on loved ones. And there could be an angry spirit in there that attaches itself to you. This one's going to be the most outlandish, but how do I word this? Unused, and no, it doesn't sound right. Or whatever, unused energy. So like if you and your spouse or your roommate or your friends or whatever, if you guys are arguing all the time and you argue in like a specific location, right? The energy of those arguments will linger. And if it's not taken care of, eventually it'll get so big that it tends to take a life on its own. It becomes sentient in a way. And that could be an attachment. So there's quite a few ways to get attachments. And then once you get them, you got to get scanned and everything like that, so we can figure out how to remove the attachments. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you. Can someone do it unconsciously? Do what? Get an attachment? Yes. Yes, they can get an attachment. Most attachments are gotten unconsciously. Let's see. Wait. So while you guys are coming up with more put one on you. Unintentionally put one on you? I mean, I guess it's possible. I haven't seen someone unintentionally put an attachment on someone. I've seen people unintentionally become attached to, you know, like get an attachment. But to unintentionally put an attachment on someone, I guess it's possible. Excuse me. I haven't seen it, but I guess it's possible. All right. While you guys are coming up with some other questions, I'm going to show you the inside of the Book of Flesh and Feather. So this book I can almost guarantee you've probably never seen a book like this. It's written in a very interesting way. For example, I just opened it up to a random page and look at this. Like, you have to say this stuff. How do I say this? How do I say this? Like, you have to recite that. How do I, like, what? It's like not even written like in good formatting. This is crazy. It talks about the secret name of Thoth, or the hymn to the thrice great Harihuti. Now, who do we also know is thrice great? Who's thrice great? A man named Hermes Mercurial Trismegistus, because the word Trismegistus means thrice great. So it's interesting that Hermes Trismegistus, who they say is Thoth, in his Egyptian form as Harihuti, is also considered thrice great. And then we wonder why in the Bible, holy, 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 thrice great. Look at this. A phylactery. It's very interesting. A prayer for acknowledgement. Like, okay, so this part of the prayer looks pretty normal, right? Looks pretty normal prayer, right? Let me just turn the page. This is not a new prayer. This is the exact same prayer. Now look at it. What the heck? How do I, like, what? Craziness. Absolute insanity. I love this book. Some of the songs in here are useful. Here we go. Here's a song. This is a hymn to Harihuti. Sing this in your best singing voice to honor the gods. Very interesting. Yeah, like, how do I pronounce? Okay, how do I pronounce this? Like, what the heck? How do I say this? It looks like a Gaelic word or something. Like, occultism can be really crazy sometimes. Let's see. Well, according to this book, this author says just to pronounce them as best you can. I don't agree with that. I would think the God, okay, maybe the gods don't care. Maybe they truly don't care. But I'm one for aesthetics. I'm one for, I guess, appearances and pomp and hence I got a 12-foot circle here. Like, what? So, like, I'm one for pomp and circumstance. So if I was the gods, I would like to hear it in the original tongue that I gave it to you in, not this new language 5,000 years later. So I would like to learn how they say these things properly. But according to the author, he says that you can just pronounce them as best as you can. But I would like to learn how the Egyptians actually pronounce this stuff. I used to know how to read hieroglyphs when I was a kid. I was fascinated with Egypt. And I remember my mother and my grandmother bought me 2 books, one each, on how to read and translate, and then, read, transliterate, and then translate hieroglyphs. But that was like when I was 11, so I don't remember any of that stuff. What the hell? Sorry, I'm watching TV too. Beyond the Clouds of the Mind. What? Anyway. Useful spell to acquire assistance from the wandering dead. Now, I want to see a ghost hunter read this, and then I want to get a ghost hunter's perspective on this, because they're out here wandering around, just randomly going into graveyards and haunted areas with their little technology, with their little modified radio, talking about, hello, is anyone here with us? And it goes, I'm like, oh my God, did you hear that, bro? That's not how you work with the dead. I've got like 6 books on necromancy, and I am a necromancer, and there's none of that in here, and there's none of that in any of those other books. So let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, is there a guide for, or I mean, I'm sure there is a guide or instruction, but I don't know where to find those. But I'm sure there is. See, me too. I filled a notebook with them, but I don't know what they meant. You don't know what meant. I wish I could find those notebooks now. Yes, if you do find them, do let me know what you wrote down in there. I would love to discuss that. All right, let me put these. Oh, okay, yeah, hieroglyphs, yeah. Like, I wish I could read this. I wish I knew what that said. Oh man, when I was a kid, it would take me maybe 10 minutes and I'd have this thing translated, but I can't read it now. It's just a bunch of cool looking symbols to me, but I used to be able to do, oh my God. Or like the back here, to know what that says, and it's probably nothing crazy. It probably just says, this probably just says the Book of Flesh and Feather, and then this probably just says like Hail Jehuti or something crazy, but I would love to know what it says. But I'm gonna put these books back now. Harihuti, what's up with all these 111s, 444s, and 555s I keep seeing? Interesting you say that. One moment, and I will answer that question. Okay, sorry about that. Zakael, the Stargate of Christ, but they spell Christ like that, Kryst. This is by Aeon Sophia Press, or through Aeon Sophia Press by John Vermillion. Another one of my books that's only published. I think this one's there's only 400 copies of this, and I've got one. This, and there's a prequel. So this is the sequel, if I can call it that. I mean, it's not a novel, it's an actual book, but so to answer your question about the 111, 444s, 555s, the New Age will tell you these are angel numbers, right? And if you Google this is what they will literally tell you. Your angels are, it means your angels are watching you. Your angels are giving you a message. Well, what message? 55, that's the message, 555. Like, what message? Because unless they're putting $555 in my bank account, I don't care. Oh, well, it means that they're watching you and you're loved. That's nonsense. I don't care. I don't care that they love me. Are they doing anything for me? Probably not. Well, according to Zakael, the Stargate of Christ, when you see recurring numbers like that, they actually should not be looked at as 111, 444, and 555. According to this, they should be broken down into different sets. I'm going to try to find it so I can read it directly. Give me 1 second here. It's the color glossary. Here we go, the numerology glossary. Okay, so here it is right here. I'm going to be reading the second paragraph right here. So feel free to take a screenshot so you know I'm not bullshitting when I'm about to read this. And again, this is Zakael, the Stargate of Christ. So according to Zakael, it says number synchronicity in sets of 3 or 4, such as 111 or 1111, etc., should be broken down. Meaning you don't read them as 444, 555, 111. You read them as 1, 1, 1, or 4, 4, 4, not 444. It says a set of 3 archetypes, so 111, 444, indicate a triggering of a mind pattern, while a set of 4 represent a triggering of DNA information. Some forms may be a trigger for programming, but this is to be looked at on an individual basis, which means when you Google these things and they give you generic answers, that's bullshit. These need to be done on an individual basis. 444 for you does not mean the same thing as 444 for me. Where did I leave off? Individual basis, as oftentimes subconscious programming and mind control altars can be triggered by number sequences. Now that's going into some MK Ultra stuff. I don't know if this is the conversation we need to be having here, but that's what that is. So when you see those numbers, they're not angel numbers. You need to break them down individually, and you should get a numerology glossary for that. There is one in here. It goes through each of the numbers and what they mean, 1, 2, and everything. But I'm not going to read each, number 0 through 9. But yeah, so when you see recurring numbers, it's hard to tell you exactly what they mean because they mean different things for different people. But for you, it could mean one thing, and for me, it could mean something else. Just like a tarot reading. That's why I don't like these speed tarot readings that people do. So, yeah. Merlin Wizard. Well, welcome. We got a wizard. Welcome, Merlin. Have you read the book that John Michael Greer wrote about you? He wrote several books about you. I think it's called like The Magic of Merlin or something like that. Interesting book. John Michael Greer is an archdruid of the American Association of Druids, the Druid American Association, something like that. Wrote quite a few books on Druidism. So, Shorty Dotto, you're welcome. No worries. User Divine Feminine. Well, what's going on, Divine Feminine? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Any other questions, guys? I'm probably going to get off in about 10 minutes. It'll be 10:30. I've been on for an hour and a half. So any more questions? I'm gonna put this book back. I only got this to answer your question. Okay. And I got a couple more books out I want to show you guys. I mentioned earlier that I'm a necromancer, let's just call it that. So these are a few of the books that I have on necromancy that help with my practice, because you can't practice on your own. You have to have a reference for something. So this, well, you know what? I'm gonna start with the first one. This is Sabbatica, published through Nephilim Press. I actually left a review about another book by them. I have up there the Book of Smokeless Fire. Not a fan of that book at all. It's by S. Ben Kayan. Some of you, if you study Satanism and Chaos Magic, may have heard about him. I left a bad review of that book on one of the occult forums that I'm a member of, one of the advanced forums, years ago when I first bought it. And the owner, Frank Red of Nephilim Press, you can Google all this, Frank Red, and you can even go to the forum. I'll give you the name of the forum, Studio Arcanist. Just Google the Book of Smokeless Fire, Studio Arcanist. You'll find my review. It was under the name The God King, as I said earlier, and the owner of the forum, of the house, actually came onto the forum to defend the book. It was quite interesting. But anyway, so this is Sabbatica. It's called Sabbatica. Hold on. You know what? Let me just, because I don't know the full title. Here we go. Sabbatica, the Seas of Death and the Arcana of the Death Bringer. It's edited by Edgar Kervel, but it's a compilation book. So each chapter is by a different author. So it's not all by Edgar Kervel, but it's called Sabbatica, the Seas of Death and the Arcana of the Death Bringer. And the rituals in here are absolutely crazy. There's all kinds of just rituals. Oh, there's all kinds of rituals in here, as you can see. But one of the most diabolical rituals in here is one that you probably wouldn't even think would be crazy. It is, where is it? Oh, here we go. It's by Hermetic Husonath, or Aeon 131. You can Google him. He wrote some stuff before. It's the Last Touch of the Great Poisoner. It's a 9-month ritual, 9 months, in which you, I guess you can call it God assumption, God forming. It's essentially where you take on the God that they invoke in that ritual. He essentially will, I guess, possess you. And through his possession, you will then be able to curse whomever it is that you're trying to curse. So there's a bunch of necromantic rites in here. Sabbatica. This is volume 1. At last count, there's 8 volumes. I have 2. I have volume 1, and I know it looks way different, but I can prove it's the same book. Volume 4. This is Sabbatica. As you can see there, Sabbatica, but volume 4. Again by Edgar Kervel, but there's a bunch of other authors in here as well. You want to summon your passed on loved one, whomever passed on in your life that passed away. Calling a relative or a close person. Oops. One of my photos of death to put on your altar when you're doing death magic fell out. I have a rose cross on my altar right now because most of the magic I do right now is of Hermetic origin. So, but here's the demonic cross. If you're going to, instead of like the Christian cross, you have the demonic cross here. And geez, the photo. This is another photo that, or not photo, but like another death altar photo. If I'm going to be doing death magic. So there's that. Then we have. Do you use a magical tool? Yes, I have. I can't show you my altar. I don't. So I'm not going to show my altar, but it's literally right here. And I have a bunch of tools. I guess I could show you some of the tools before I go on with these books. I don't know. I showed you this earlier. So this is my table of practice, which I use in conjunction with the circle that I showed you earlier. That's still sitting over there on the floor. This is my table of practice. I summon all my spirits into this. Angels, demons, except the dead. I don't summon the dead into this. But angels, demons, planetary spirits, aerial spirits, elementals, planetary intelligences, genius Loki. They're all summoned into this, my table of practice. As you can see, we have the angel names, Michael, or Michael, but the pronouncing is Michael, Gabriel. Who's that? Oh, Raphael. I thought that was a J, but it's an L because it's backwards. I was like, who the heck is that? And then Uriel. And then around here we have the sacred names of God written in angelic script. So that's one tool. On my altar, I don't have much. Let me go in my altar. We got candles. Oh, my bone set. My bone set when I'm doing bone readings, if I'm, doing work with a spirit of the dead and they can't communicate properly, I'll use my bone set. I've got candles. I've got different oils. Hold on, let me see here. I've got different oils and stuff. I don't know. Let me just see. Here's a love me oil. If a friend of mine needs a love working done, and of course my oils have things in them, so they're not just it's not just regular oil. There's like actual curios and herbs and things in there. Here's another oil, a road opener oil that I have. Here's a money oil. Some herbs in there. Here's a more traditional oil. A friend of mine, Fuchet Nampoint, he's a voodoo priest, or as they call themselves, a Hungana Swoge. He gave me a bath. It says bath, but it's a head wash. So essentially, when you're doing cleansing work or initiatic work, you have to be clean before the gods. So I put this on my hand, and it's good for me because I'm bald, but I guess if you have hair, it might not be so cool, but I'm bald, so I can just and do it. And then it's essentially voodoo holy water. It's essentially holy water. I have holy water too, but voodoo holy water. This holy water is authentic holy water. This is from an Orthodox church, bottled at the source. It's all in Hebrew. The only English on here is holy water and aqua. Everything else is in Hebrew. I got this from an Orthodox Christian church. I don't know which Orthodox church though, because there's like 7. I think Syriac. Whatever. So some holy water there. My wand, which is the tool that was coming out of its casing earlier. I keep this in a case. I take very good. I mean, you see my books. They're not like all trashed and destroyed and bent up out of shape. I take this stuff very seriously. So all my items are in pristine condition. This is my wand. Made out of elder wood, hence the order of elder wood. Put that back. Let me see. My tarot cards are there. Only you guys care about that. Candles. My cocaine. Just kidding. It's not cocaine. It's Egyptian natron. I use this. If I don't want to use that 12-foot circle and I'm doing spirit work, I'll use this. Salt's not going to work. It's natron. This is what, I mean, history. You don't believe a word I'm saying. Test me out. History will prove that the ancient Egyptians used this for everything from cleaning their house. So like down in the southern part of America, people use Florida water. If you talk to a hoodooist, they'll use Florida water, which is a magical water, like holy water, but they use it to clean their floors. So it's the exact same concept. So people in ancient Egypt would use natron to clean as well as magical rites. They would use it for protection, for banishing, for cleansing. So I use this as a circle. Egyptian natron. It was very hard to find this, extremely hard to find this. But I found it on Etsy, I think. No, there's the website. Where did I find it? Somaluna. Like, who would have figured out that website? Somaluna is where I found it. So there's that. I have some flying ointments here. I'll show them to you. I have two of them. This one is my spirit communication flying ointment. It has poisonous herbs, as you can see, belladonna botanicals, and these are the herbs that are in there. It's got deadly nightshade, so that's poisonous. Atropa belladonna. It's got Artemisia. I don't know half these things, but I know belladonna is poisonous, and that's what the witches of old would use, and the shamans of old would rub, and that's what I do. We rub it on pressure points. One here, back of the neck, behind the knees, soles of the feet, and these are areas where things can get absorbed into the bloodstream a lot quicker. And if you study traditional witchcraft, you'll see, or you'll learn that flying ointments were used by witches to fly to the devil's Sabbath. So that's another thing. When people try to tell you that there's no devil in witchcraft, it's all a Christian concept, there was a point in time where we needed to say stuff like that because of the satanic panic, but it's not true. There is a devil in witchcraft. And now, not every witch worships the devil. Not every witch honors the devil, but there is a devil in witchcraft, and he is very real. A book I showed you earlier had some devil stuff in there. But this is my spirit work flying ointment. As you can see, it's been used. So you don't need much, just a little bit, because these, I mean, there's poison in here, so you don't want to kill yourself. So you don't need much, just enough to put you into an altered state. What would happen is once these herbs and these chemicals are in your bloodstream, it puts your mind into an altered state, and so magic can happen in an altered state. And then here's the other one that I have, Beyond the Matrix flying ointment. So I use this one when I'm doing divination, if I'm doing astral work, if I'm trying to shamanic journey and I'm having a bit of an issue with it, I'll use these. What else can I show you from my altar? What the heck is that? Oh, that's candles. Some things I can't show you, like I can't show you my obsidian sphere. It's charging right now. I can show you my planetary seals if you want to see that. Okay. Hold on, let me take this out first. Okay, so these are the planetary seals. So these are spirit seals, seals of the planetary spirits. Some people say that they're angels. Some of them may be angels like Anael, Sakiel, but the rest of them, I don't know. But yeah, sorry, I'm just flipping through as if you already know what I'm talking about. Okay, so these are uncolored. The first one set I'm going to show you are uncolored. And I use the uncolored ones whenever I'm trying to contact a lesser being of these planets. So not the ruler, not the actual angel, but someone under them. So I'm using the angel seal to call one of their subordinates. But then, if we flip to the back, I have the colored seals that I colored. And these are for the actual planetary spirit when I'm evoking them, or if I'm traveling. Sorry about the sorry. I'm gonna cover that. I don't want to get banned or anything. Sorry about that. But yeah, let me just cover the private area, that picture there. And the last one that I used is the one that has the layman on it. That's the last one that I used. If anybody can tell me what spirit that is, what planet and spirit that is, you get bonus points. So, oh, we got some questions. Sorry. All right. I tried automatic writing, thought I was talking to my grandma. Turns out it wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but that's an issue with a lot of those new age practices. Automatic writing can be a real thing, but you have to first verify that there is a spirit present and that you can actually get the spirit to work through you, to channel through you. It's not as simple as, someone in the new age makes it sound where they just close their eyes and go, okay, you want to talk to your grandma? Hold on. Oh, well, she told me that she's in a better place. Well, of course they're going to say that, but yeah, so sorry that you had a bad experience with that. Hold on, let me put some of this stuff away. Ooh, okay, it scratched me. How to channel safely. I don't really do much channeling. Again, most of my spirit work is evocation. I prefer to verify that the spirit is real. There's too much ego when you're doing channeling and things like that. So I prefer the spirit to be external from me so I can see them with both my real eyes and my third eye and communicate, two-way communication. So channeling for me is not a big thing. Where did you get your wand? I got my wand from Polyphanes. He doesn't do it anymore. He's Sam Block. He still has his website, still has his blog, but I don't think he makes. I mean, I got this like in 2013. So the same guy that made this for me, because I'm not an artist. I mean, you saw my circle, how like uneven that thing was. So I'm not an artist. So I had Sam Block, also known as Polyphanes, design this, and he also designed my wand. He got my wand for me. So I got it from a custom magical creator. I don't know if he does work like this anymore, but you can certainly check out his website. But thank you. You're so cool. Well, thank you very much. Pothead Princess. You know what? I'm all out of bud. I'm all out. I got to get some tomorrow. Me and my boy gonna get some tomorrow because I'm all out. So can't be a pothead tonight, unfortunately. I'm gonna go to bed sober. Sucks, but whatever. All right. Next book, Sacerdotum Umbrae Mortis. Aeon Sophia. G. de Laval. I think this is a female. Not that it matters, but I think G. de Laval is a woman. I think I read like an interview with her and it identified her as a woman, but I don't know for sure. Not that it matters. It's not important. I would just thought that to myself, but whatever. So you can see King Raiso. This is King Raiso on the cover here. He's a demon. For those of you who might study some of the African traditional religions, Kimbanda, Ifa, Kandomble, Current 221, those sorts of things, you might be familiar with Raiso. He's used in Macumba? Don't get me lying. But yeah. This is a book of necromantic black magic. And some of the stuff in here is also vampiric. There's some psychic vampirism in here. Some pretty powerful stuff. Like, look, okay. The Avardai, or the Avardi, the children of wandering, Mercury, water. That's their sigil. So I would use this. I'd probably trace over this, or maybe take a picture and print it out, and then I'd wear this, like I wear the other seals, and I wear it while I'm doing my evocation and contact this being. And then guess what's on the next page? The evocation of the Abadari. And then it tells me, all the their virtues, which is heresy. To evoke them, I have to say these words. I'm not going to say them. They have a ruling exarch. They're a mercurial spirit. It tells me their colors. It tells me which direction I have to face when I'm standing in the circle. The scent that they like, so like the incense, they like clover, crabapple, marjoram, azalea. I'm not going to say too much. I don't want anybody to call on these beings. This is some dark stuff. But yes, that's my girlfriend. We're laying next to each other right now. Oh, that's Pothead Princess is your girlfriend? That's so awesome. That is so cool. The couple that does magic together stays together. I hope to be able to find a girlfriend that is into the occultism. Me and my ex didn't work out. We ended things in June. Well, we didn't really end things because we weren't dating again. But we tried to work things out from like January of this year through maybe June, and then it didn't work out. So yeah, but she wasn't into the occult. She was a Christian, or she's she claims she's like most people in America. They claim to be Christian, but they don't really know anything about their religion. They only go to church because they're either forced to or they do it out of tradition, and they don't want to anger their grandma or something crazy like that. So she was that kind of Christian. Do you ever get scared? No, because I use protection. I have the table of practice, and I have the circle out here. I don't even remember a time where I was scared of like a spirit, because I'm so protected. Once you've achieved a divine authority, and once you've invoked the archangels like Metatron and his gang, you know, you really don't have much to worry about. I mean, even King Paimon, who's probably the most powerful demon in hell aside from Lucifer, even King Paimon, who he's not scary, but he commands a lot of respect. Even when he showed up and I evoked him, there was no fear, because I have it's like if you show up to a fight with all your friends behind you and they got weapons, and then, you know, you're up against one guy, like, are you going to be scared? Probably not. So no, not really. Now, and if I wasn't in my circle and, you know, I was trying to summon a spirit or something like that, then I probably would be very scared. Or like if I'm just walking out in the woods and I'm, you know, okay, I do get scared if I'm doing magic like in the woods and now I'm done and then I have to go back to my car, and it's usually done at night. That's pretty scary, walking through the woods at night after you did magic. So after you summon something and then you leave your circle, there could be some things still lingering around. Even though I banished the spirit that I called, there could be other spirits still hanging around. And so that's pretty scary. But the spirits themselves, no, I haven't been scared by them. Not really. Opposites attract. Indeed, they do. Hereditary made it look scary. Yes, that's a pretty good movie. Hereditary and Midsummer, they're both pretty good movies. That sounds terrifying. It can be terrifying, but I mean, I'm used to this stuff. I started when I was 13. And then I was lucky enough to be trained by an actual person. I didn't learn from the internet. I didn't learn from a book. I learned from an actual witch who trained me for 4 years. So I had someone always looking over my shoulder saying, don't do this, don't do that, do this, and then explaining why. People don't get that these days. They just get, no, you can't do that kind of spell. You can't do that ritual, blah, blah. And no one explains why. My teacher, High Priestess Caroline Graham, would always sit me down and explain A, B, C equals D, and here's why. And yeah, so I like The Conjuring. Oh, the James Wan films. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know The Conjuring. But honestly, the only movie that really captures real... Okay, I'll say this. It captures real occultism, but in a religious, so it's not scary at all. It's very religious, and it captures more Wicca than anything else. So maybe it's not a good representation of occultism as a whole, but it does a good job. And that movie is The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. She has her own issues, yes, the pedophilia stuff and all that. We're not going to get into all that, but there's rumor that she was an occultist because her books are too accurate to not. I mean, either she had to be one herself or she was close friends with one or some, because her books and that movie is too accurate on how priestesses and priests work within occultism. So yeah, that movie, The Mists of Avalon, and the book, but you probably want to watch the movie, does a good job. It's starring Angelica Houston and what's that other girl's name? Oh no, but Angelica Houston, who also has her own issues with her father being a pedophile and all that stuff. But we don't got to talk about that. That's all Hollywood stuff. Are there other people in your life that are spiritual like you? No, I'm the only one. Unfortunately not. But no, my friends are cool with it. You know, they don't care. I'm not shunned or the weird guy or anything like that. They love it and they support this. They love the fact that I, am on, a TikTok doing this, and I'm on YouTube. Oh yeah, follow my YouTube if you guys have YouTube. It's The Mystical Rebel. YouTube, I also have a website, themysticalrebel.com, so you can check me out there as well. But unfortunately, no. Cryptids. Okay, so cryptids, I guess it would depend on the cryptid that you're talking about, but in general, no. Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra, Alabama White Fang, that video of those weird people in like San Francisco, you know, those weird blobs walking through the street or whatever it was, whatever town that was in, Texas or something like that a few years ago. Nah, I don't believe in cryptids. And the reason is not for any magical reason. It's actually very, very, very mundane. The reason is because we live in a world where everyone has in their pocket, you're on it right now, and everyone has in their pocket a movie quality camera. No joke. I'm a big movie buff. I make movies. I'm a filmmaker. And in 2016, Apple did an entire campaign for the Oscars, the epitome of filmmaking success. Apple, the company, did a campaign for the Oscars where they were promoting the cameras in their phones and their tablets as being movie quality. And it wasn't just a promotion. To prove it, they made a deal with the hit show Modern Family to film an entire episode on nothing but Apple products. And then they showcased it at the Oscars. And that episode won several awards. And this was in 2016. We're in 2021, 5-6 years later, 4 or 5, 6 years later. So you're telling me that cameras didn't get any better? Now, you drive past a car accident. What do? Or maybe not you, but what do most people do? Pull out their phone. You're a 16-year-old kid at school and there's a fight breaking out and you're walking by. What do? You pull out your phone. There's a cop beating up a black guy. What do? You pull out your phone, right? There's a house fire across the street. What do? You pull out your phone. You pull out your phone on everything else in the world, but you don't pull out your phone when you see something crazy like a spaceship or a cryptid. You don't pull out your phone when you see the chupacabra. You don't pull out your phone if you're a hunter and you're hunting in the woods and you see a Bigfoot, but he doesn't see you. You don't get your phone out and you don't take a picture. Oh, you did take a picture, but it looks like it's from 1982. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I feel as though we live in a world where there's enough people with enough good quality phones. I mean, Joe Rogan was just on his podcast 2 months ago talking about his Samsung. I have a Samsung. His Samsung camera can zoom into the moon. So you can zoom into the moon, but you can't zoom into Bigfoot. You can't zoom into the Loch Ness Monster. Nobody has a good, clear picture. No one. There's 8 billion people in the world, and no one has a good picture of Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra. Nobody set up. These things never walk past their Ring doorbell. Nobody has, all these farmers, Skinwalker Ranch, and these national parks have cameras set up in case people go missing. No one ever caught a Chupacabra in 4K. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's impossible. It's impossible. I don't believe it. I think, that there might be something else going on out there in the woods when people go missing and things like that. I don't think it's like a cryptid. And I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and I'm open to being wrong. But logically, we pull our phones out for every other anomaly in the world. But that one, that doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense. Every unnatural thing that happens in the world, we pull out our phone to record it so we can show our friends, our family. Oh my God, bro, this crazy thing happened. I was driving to work and a dragon came out the sky. You'd record that, but you wouldn't record the Loch Ness Monster. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that's my issue with cryptids. Do I have any tattoos? I do. Well, these two are stupid. I got money here. I was young and dumb. Or sorry, that says power. I got money here, young and dumb, got money and power, so I could do this. I was stupid. I was like 18 when I got those, and I didn't even want it that small. I wanted it on my whole arm like that. I thought that would be cooler, but he didn't understand what I was saying. So I got money and power here. I got a snake here. It kind of looks like, actually, now that I think about it, it kind of looks like King Raiso, to be honest with you. I didn't even notice that. Look at that. I didn't even notice that until just now. Honestly, didn't even notice that. And then I've got on this arm a demon chick. She's it's a demon chick. You can see the demon. You can't really see her snakes, but she has. See, there's a snake right there. There's a snake right there, and they wrap around and they wrap down around her bottom of her legs here. It's like a female demon. And then on my chest here, I have a snake. So as you can see, I love snakes. So. Feral humans in the national parks. I don't think I've ever heard of feral. I mean, I've like heard of like that one kid. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think Oh, you mean you think it's feral humans? Yeah, it could be that. Or I think there's some other stuff going on out there, like some Ozarks type stuff. Like there's some people deep out in the woods, I don't know, doing drugs and stuff. Not doing drugs, but like making drugs. Okay. So while that might be hard to believe here in America, study Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar had drug factories in the middle of rainforests. It's not like if it can happen in South America, why can't it happen up here? I mean, if he can, I mean, who's going to go to a rainforest to try to find your drug house? Nobody. They're thinking that you're on 85th and Central at the trap house. They don't think you're in the jungle. They think you're at the trap house. So the jungle would probably be a good place to put it. Well, there's no jungles here in America, but we have vast expanses of woods and forests. So it would make sense to put a drug house out there, and somebody wanders along, a hiker, a camper, a hunter, and they see it, and you see them. You can't let them leave. They're not going to be quiet. They're going to tell the cops that I saw somebody out here making cocaine. And so you got to go. You got to go, bro. You shouldn't have been out here. So now I got to cut your head off. Like, so that's, I mean, I think that that's what's going on out there. There's some drug stuff going on. Have you heard or have you read of any Robert Monroe? No, I have not. I have not heard of Robert Monroe. Does he have any books that you would recommend? Love that snake. Thank you very much. I have a snake tattoo too. Oh, good. What? These are all cobras, I think, except for the one on the demon chick. But what kind of snake do you have? That's low-key smart. Thank you very much. I try to bring logic into everything that I do. So, I was going to show you something here. Oh, back to the book. Look at that. Death, the Right of Self-Burial. I told you this book is crazy. Like, who is going to go through with that sort of thing? I would, or I did. So now I didn't bury myself like for real. Like I didn't get in a coffin and go underground 6 feet. But yeah, he has a trilogy on his astral journeys. Okay, Robert Monroe. Let me write that down so I can check that out. I have a little notebook here that has even the mystical rebel on it, that I keep all my like notes for things that I want to look up or do later magically. So Robert Monroe, write him down, and we will take a look at his stuff. Robert Monroe, you said he has astral. He wrote a book on astral, his astral journeys. He has a trilogy. Okay, thank you for that. I'm gonna look that up. My snake is very John, I just don't think it type. Okay, that's cool. He created a foundation that studied astral projection. Oh, do you mean the Monroe Institute? See, I didn't know who created that. It's fun. If you do mean the Monroe, it's so funny. If you do mean that, while I was at work today, I was looking it up. I was looking up the Monroe Institute because somebody else was talking about that earlier today. I was watching a podcast on YouTube, and they were talking about that. And so I decided to look it up, and I was like, these courses are expensive. $3,000 when I can learn it myself in 10 minutes from, it's just crazy. But is that who you mean? Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on the gateway experience? I don't have any thoughts on it. I mean, I know about it, but I haven't studied it in any capacity. I'm assuming you mean the CIA document that was released in the 80s or whatever about that stuff. I actually have it, but I haven't really read it. I've got too much on my plate when it comes to actual occultism. So I don't really have any thoughts on that just yet. Yeah, but the tapes are on YouTube too. Okay, listen to the Hemisync. Okay, well, let me write that down. Listen to the Hemisync. And is this on YouTube that I can find this? The Hemisync? Listen to the Hemisync. Is this on YouTube? The YouTube audio. Okay. It's on YouTube. Sweet. Thank you for that. I will check that out. Yeah, I've heard of them. There's a channel that I watch on YouTube. I guess I'm promoting another channel here. The Leak Project. I'm not part of it or anything like that, so I don't get anything out of promoting it. But I watch his channel a lot, Rex Bear of the Leak Project. And some people he's had on are graduates of the Monroe Institute. I think one woman even worked with them or something like that. So that's interesting. Under Gateway. Okay, I will look that up on YouTube. Let's see here. Oh, let me just continue. I got 2 more books I want to show you guys here. So this is another book on necromancy. I do not like this one. This one, I believe, is New Age nonsense, just covered in black magic. Would you do it if it wasn't $300? Yeah. Oh, if it wasn't 3,000, yeah, I'd probably do it if it wasn't $3,000. But $3,000 is crazy. But yeah, I'd probably do it just to see if it was valid. And then if it was valid, I would incorporate it into my own practice. And if it wasn't, I'd make a video about it as New Age nonsense. So like this is New Age nonsense. This book here, you're not going to find any information about this group. They don't exist anymore. I promise you, you can Google it all you want. You're only going to find forums talking about it. But I used to be a member of a LARPing group. I proved them to be LARPers. I joined to find out if they were real or not, and they were LARPers. So they were people pretending to do magic, and they didn't. But they wrote books like this, full of nonsense. This is called Charnel Whispers by Somnish Dreadwood. It's not his real name. You can look him up. He did a video with EA Coediting, so you can still find info on Somnish Dreadwood. But this book, absolutely nonsense. Charnel Whispers: Mastery of Necromancy, Death, and Undeath. Undeath. This isn't D&D, okay? This is okay. You know what? I'm gonna read a spell out of here so I can prove to you how crazy this is. Okay. Conjuring death elementals. What the heck is a death elemental? The elementals, earth, air, fire, and water, and then of course spirit, I guess if you want to count spirit or Akash, they're neither life nor death. They just are. They're the energies of our world. They make up our earthbound plane. So I'm not sure why there's undead elementals in here. That doesn't make any sense. There's no such thing as undead elementals. You can summon a group of crows, of Karakian crows, to commit murder because a group of crows is called a murder of crows. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this is just black water. You can make black water, which is supposed to be it's a spell to poison a well and make the whole well poisonous, and whoever drinks it would die. Like, come on. Like, this is crazy. Also, they claim to be a coven from like 14th century Austria, but when you actually do any research on Austria in the 14th century, none of the stuff that they mentioned, none of the families, none of the places, none of the kings and dukes and stuff that they claim to be were members never existed. There's no history. I mean, I can find a history of kings and dukes and princes going back from every country everywhere, and it's not there. So this book is absolute nonsense. I keep it just to show people the absolute insanity that happens even in occultism, not just the New Age, but even in occultism, there's crap. And then earlier, my final book I'm going to show you before I get off this evening. I was supposed to get off a half hour ago, but you guys had some great questions. The Book of Smokeless Fire, the one from Nephilim Press, where I left a bad review and the owner came onto the forum to defend the book. This is it. The Book of Smokeless Fire. It's supposed to be a modern day rendition of the Miscelano de Salamano, which is a grimoire. I'm a grimoire traditionalist magician, so of course that interested me. When I read this, it resembles nothing, not even remotely close to the Miscelano de Salamano. So I have no idea what this author was talking about. And so this is a book of jinn summoning. You're supposed to be able, because it's called the Book of Smokeless Fire. So the jinn, if you know anything about Islamic sorcery, the jinn are their versions of demons, but they're made out of smokeless fire. So they're fires, but they don't produce any smoke. And this book is supposedly teaches you how to summon them. Here's one of them right here. This guy, right? But these jinn are supposedly the most diabolically evil people under the sun, right? There's these totally evil beings, yet you can command them for some reason. They listen to you for some reason, and not only that, you're supposed to summon them. I'm trying to find the circle here. Okay, here we go. So there's no actual protective circle. You're supposed to summon them using their own circle. So that doesn't make any sense. The circle is supposed to be a form of protection to keep outside influences from getting in, and all of the energy that you're conjuring stays in and doesn't get out. So that way you can use it all to evoke the spirit. And then when the spirit appears, it's supposed to keep the spirit out, especially a spirit as evil as what's supposed to be in this book. Yet using their circle, using the spirit's own seal as its circle doesn't offer any protection at all. If anything, it would put you at the mercy of the spirit, because then you'd be in its own energy centers. And that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know where he's getting all of this information. The only good thing out of this book that I can find is he has a theory on angles. He has a theory on like shapes and angles, and contained in those angles is energy. That is true. Angles do contain a lot of energy, and he supposedly shows you how to tap into the energies of these, so there'd be energy, like here, there'd be energy here, in all of the like corners, all the angles, there would be energy. And that's true. If you can unlock these seals, you can unlock that energy. But you would need a magic circle in order to do that, or else you're gonna, how do you protect yourself from these, oh my God, like these absolutely asinine beings? Look, it says it right here. The jinn that are presented in this volume are not what I would, I have a hard time reading backwards, are not what I would consider truly evil. They are evil in the sense that they serve no other purpose than to afflict pain and death. It's right there. Pain and death, however, are a much needed source of pure chaotic essence to overthrow the oppression of order. Right there. Absolutely crazy. But all right, I think I'm gonna end it here, guys. It's 11. I've been doing this for about 2 hours now, so I think I'm gonna hop off and I'm gonna play some Xbox or something before I hit the hay. So thank you guys for showing up this evening. Like and follow if you would. I also have a YouTube, The Mystical Rebel, as well as themysticalrebel.com. You can also find me on wizardforums.com. I don't own it, so I know the name's a juvenile, but it's not mine. But I am on there talking. I've been on there for several years, and I've been through several different admin changes. You can also find me on Studio Arcanist. That's a more advanced forum for occultism. I'm there as well. On both forums, I am not under the Mystical Rebel. I'm under my old name that I used to from like 10 years ago, where I used to talk about magic on. I'm under the name The God King. So could you post the live, please? The info is so useful. We really. So you mean like post it on here, or you mean like on my YouTube? Because I can do that. I don't know if I can post it on here. I think they only allow 3 minutes as like the max. But if you mean on my YouTube, yes, I can certainly do that if you would like me to. And probably even on my website too. That would be cool. I never thought about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna get going, guys. Thank you for showing up. I will post it to YouTube, Nickum1002. Thank you guys. You've been great. And I'll see you next time. Enjoy your night.